It's a bag of mixed messages coming out of the White House, which for the most part, is a normal occurrence. The country was told there was no concern, there was no need to wear a mask, and that COVID-19 testing was plentiful. A short time later the country was shut down, told masks were an option, and that testing was in short supply. And now the country is being reopened despite the virus infiltrating the White House. Masks are a requirement most places, and testing is again said to be plentiful. One of those mixed messages is a do as I say, not as I do thing. After 2 White House staffers tested positive for COVID-19, White House workers are being told to wear masks almost always, yet Donald Trump and Mike Pence still don't need to wear them. The president also flip-flops on whether testing is important. Trump told reporters in April that wearing a mask isn't for him. I think wearing a face mask as I greet presidents, prime ministers, dictators, kings, queens, I don't know, somehow I don't see it for myself. I just don't. Pence brought much criticism when he toured the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. Despite being close with patients and healthcare workers, he did not wear a mask, even though it's hospital policy. For his part, Trump toured a mask factory and still didn't wear a mask, insisting later that he wore one backstage. But after Pence's press secretary, Katie Miller, and one of Trump's personal valets tested positive, the White House directed officials to always wear a mask when inside the White House. This order extends to everyone, except it changes nothing for Trump and Pence. We are requiring everyone who enters the West Wing to wear a mask or facial covering, said a memo. Unless you absolutely need to conduct in-person business in the West Wing, we respectfully ask you to avoid unnecessary visits. This was signed by the White House Management Office. At the same time, it's different at the White House, as they get tested daily, at least Trump and Pence do, as well as those who are in close contact with them regularly. States are being given $11 billion to roll out their own testing initiatives. This was part of the $2 trillion stimulus aid bill. Trump is also claiming that tests are plentiful, yet that no one should want one. If people want to get tested, they get tested, but for the most part, they shouldn't want to get tested, he said. This could be because the test is seen as particularly nasty, as it involves being swabbed deep up through the nose. He further confused the issue in a meeting with GOP lawmakers on Friday, announcing that Miller had tested positive. This is why the whole concept of tests aren't necessarily great, he said. The tests are perfect, but something can happen between a test where it's good, and then something happens, and all of a sudden she was tested very recently and tested negative. And then today, I guess, for some reason, she tested positive. By Monday, a maskless Trump was saying that testing is a very big important function. His testing coordinator, Admiral Brett Giroir, spoke from a different podium to keep a distance but also didn't wear a mask. Along with people close to Pence and Trump being tested daily, White House spokesman Judd Deere said the White House is implementing daily temperature checks as well as regular deep workspace cleaning. Symptoms will be monitored and hand sanitizer will be readily available. Despite Miller and the personal valet testing positive, Trump is insisting all is well with the way things are being conducted at the White House. I don't think the system broke down at all, he said on Monday. It can happen. It's the hidden enemy. Perhaps the most disturbing thing is that the president said he doesn't personally feel vulnerable. While this is great for him, there are millions of people across the US who feel much differently.